Hello, this is Steve Hill with Red Transit Consultants here to demonstrate the Set User Contours app available on the Autodesk App Store. This app is set up for Civil 3D and it helps to automate the process of displaying specific contours in a surface within the surface analysis properties. So Civil 3D has a way to do this out of the box, in which I'll demonstrate first. But that method can take some time, and if you're doing this as a repetitive task and have a number of contours that you want to kind of draw attention to in your drawing, this app can help you with that. So first, demonstrating how you would do this in Civil 3D manually is first you would click on a surface and go into surface properties, and let's say you really don't know any information about the surface as far as elevations. You could obviously place some contour labels or spot elevations to determine elevations, but if you just went into statistics in general and looked at the min and maximum elevations, you could kind of quickly get an idea of what your surface's elevation consists of. The app will pull in this data, you'll see shortly. Next we would go over to the Analysis tab, and then we would switch the analysis type to User Defined Contours. And from here we can specify the number of ranges or number of contours that we want to highlight in the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and select 2. And I'm going to say the first contour will be elevation 400, the second one I'm going to say elevation 500, and then on the display part you can control the line type, line weight, and color. And so for right now I'm just going to set both of these to a color. I'm going to leave the line types and line weights alone. You could modify the description in here if you wanted to. It's not really necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone, and we'll say OK. And so now here's our surface, and you can kind of see some blank spots in here, and that's where those contours appear, but the surface style is not set up to display those contours, and that's where this app will help you along your way. So to get a Civil 3D surface style set up, you basically have to click on the surface, and a user would either have to go and find a different surface style in their drawing that is set to display the user contours, or modify the current style. So I'm going to edit this style, and on the display tab I can come down and say user contours, turn those on, and say OK. And now we have those contours on, but notice that they're white instead of I had picked red. So there's another setting in the surface style that also has to be turned on under the contours tab, contour ranges, and then use color scheme, set that to true, and say OK. And now the contours will display your color, line type, line weight, all that for you. But that would have to be done in the style or manually by the user. But that's how you would do it out of the box without any automation. And so I'm going to undo all this and kind of back up to where we were at the beginning. So here's our surface, and I'm going to use the Set User Contours app. So on installation, it comes in on the Add-ins tab, and then you'll see this button. You can go ahead and click that, and then you'll pick the surface. It's asking you for that. And then notice it's pulling in those elevations I mentioned at the beginning of the min and max of the surface, and that's just to help you, know where you're at in the surface. So the way this app is set up to work is you enter in a range minimum, a range maximum, and then you enter in the incremental value that you want the surface to calculate. So if I wanted the 400 and 500 contours turned on, I'd say 400, 500, and say my increment is 100. And then it's going to ask you for a color, ask you for the line type, and then ask you for the line weight. And then next, what it does is, this is where it's most helpful, is it's identifying whether or not the user contour is turned on in the display tab of the style, and then also whether or not the using the color scheme is set to true. And so it's basically looked at this style and said, this style is not set up to view the surface. Do you want to search the drawing for another style that may be set up for it? And so the app will go through and look for a style that in your drawing that would be set to show the user contours and have the color scheme set to true. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Go ahead and search that drawing. And as we expected, there is not a style in this drawing that has those settings. So the next prompt, if it did find one, it would apply it for you. But the next prompt here is, do you want to edit your style to have those settings? So if you click yes, it's going to modify your style to display the contours as you would expect. And so there you can see it's gone through and changed the style for you to display those contours. And if I go in and look at the surface properties and the analysis and go to user defined contours, you can see the two contours entered, and it's changing the description to match the contour elevation, and then also the color scheme. So again, if we wanted to do something a little bit more data, let's say we go 375 to 650, and we want 5-foot increment, and change these to cyan, change them to dashed, and we'll just use the regular line type. Say OK. And so it's going to go through and set those user contours for us. And then if we look at the user-defined contours, you can see it's entered in all that information for you and made those adjustments. So the app can really save a lot of time if you have to do that. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, take a look at the app on the store, and you can send me an email from there. Thanks. Bye.